What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, this was requested, found it in the comments. This is what the rest of the world thinks of Americans. This is back in 2019, so of course we've been doing some other things, but somebody was like, hey, we check this one out, what the rest of the world thinks. I mean, just from everybody comments from the videos I do, hey, you know, I ain't gonna lie, some of it's a lot of bad things. It's a lot of bad things. But for me personally, being here, like some of the things other people experience, me personally, I have not just experienced personally, but I've known some people that might have. Because people, you know, I always say it's different strokes for different folks. So it really just depends. It just depends. But me personally, like, I mean, I've been doing good. I've been doing pretty good. Some things sucks. Like certain things sucks, like the healthcare, like the schooling and all that stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, but other than that, it's like I can't say I just hate it here. You know, life has been good for me, but I do want to travel and see the rest of the world. Do plan on going to different places because of just how beautiful the different cities and towns are in the different countries. Most of y'all been nice to me, you know. I mean, I be having some rude comments, but most of y'all been pretty nice to me, been pretty understanding, and you show a lot of love. So that's why I appreciate y'all. That's why I continue to do these videos. So I thank you. But we finna jump into this. Hit that subscribe button, send down those recommendations, and let's check it out.
Can someone tell me why Americans always leave the AC on, even if they go out all day? This question we saw last night posted on an online forum by a disgruntled hotel owner. What followed were reams of insults, generalizations, arguments, peppered with the odd, intelligent, and temperate comment. That's par for the course online, but it's fortunate we saw that so soon before writing the show. We saw comments along the lines of, Americans are just arrogant and ignorant, as if 325.7 million people were molded into one monolithic entity. Then we saw, I'm American, and I leave the AC on as long as I like. I pay for it. See, people said, they all think the world owes them something. What about the environment? Driving around in their big cars and SUVs, throwing out more trash than anyone, and pretending to care about environmental disasters. This went on and on, with people casting aspersions against an entire nation. Others, of course, weren't so bad, calling out people for having a very limited understanding of a country and its cultural and intellectual diversity.
Which makes sense, because, like, I mean, to be honest, a lot of us could say a lot about a lot of things, but it's like, I can't just go and say something about another country if I've never been there, like, I research and see stuff now, you know, that's different, but if I don't have no knowledge or no understanding of a certain thing, it's like, do my opinion really matter? Like, now I'm just probably saying something out of frustration or out of hate, you know?
But can we make such generalizations? Could we argue that many Americans embrace their individuality and their right to do what they want? They paid for that darn AC, and they will darn well do what they want with it. The fact is, we all...
I ain't gonna lie, with the AC, if we ain't in the house, we ain't leaving that on, because that also runs up money. I paid for it, but I don't want to pay a whole bunch for it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna have my stuff, my electricity and all that stuff be skyrocketing because I left the AC on when I'm not at home. That's a no-no. You know, that's why I said different strokes for different folks. Not everybody do that.
All sometimes are culpable of whittling down the world to a manageable size that fits within our sometimes uneducated preconceptions. We cannot say all Americans are this or that, but perhaps there might be underlying character traits to a culture, something data, evidence, or experience can provide us with. But in the end, most of us don't rely on data or objective reasoning and rely instead on an image, a construction that we've created out of a wanton bias. Number 5. Arrogance. As we said, much of the world thinks Americans are arrogant. You don't have to look hard online to find this out. We hear that they like nothing more than to plant flags around their houses, and they go on and on about how great their country is, and by association that must mean how great they are, even though they often didn't do that much to claim this superiority. As the American comedian Doug Stanhope once alluded, some flag wavers are like imperial hangers-on. Anyway, some people say this is why Americans are often so loud, and don't worry, there are plenty of articles and forum questions asking why American voices tend to drown out others, say, when abroad. We might ask if this has anything to do with that sense of patriotism. The great country, greatest, best in the world, no doubt, better than anyone else, and also the entitlement that comes from a place that espouses expressive individualism at all costs. The loud American is a much better known phrase than the great piece of literature called the quiet American. Forums are full.
Hey, and that's a fact just from hearing everybody. I love the fact when y'all comment, y'all do give me like real life experience. Some people in the comments can be biased and it can be like just image of what they probably heard. But most of y'all actually have some great experience of what you've seen, and the loud American is a fact. It's a fact on one. You go to different places. I mean, right now we used to it. Like if you go to restaurants and stuff like that, it's loud. Movies shouldn't be, but sometimes you might hear people talk during the movie or laugh or something. That's about it.
Full of people talking about these loud people, demanding, expatiating, bragging, complaining, extolling the merits of good old America, and forcing some poor European into a quiet internal violence, wondering all the time, do they not realize they're being obnoxious? Where's the self-awareness? Hell yes, go America! Now this isn't of course true for all Americans, it's a stereotype, but it exists. If you don't believe us, check it out for yourself. You could be reading for a year, even though it's fantastically unrealistic and arrogant to think the stereotype is true for all people in the USA. What we hope to do is point out such stereotypes, and we can discuss them after the show. Now, on to the next. Number 4. Ignorance. All countries attempt to imbue a sense of nationalism in their people. It's how they get soldiers to fight wars, to believe in the country, to create a sense of belonging and cooperation. But do nations attempt to foster ignorance in people? Well, you might have read some critics saying the American school system is purposely trying to dumb down its citizens. They want workers, robots, not creative, critical, skeptical kids that might ask too many questions. Hail the idiocracy!
This is a fact. I believe that too. They dumb down information. Because really, that's why I said even with college, like you can go get a book off of Amazon because that's what they're going to tell you to do anyway. But they dumb down the stuff and just tell us a certain amount. I do believe that, Basco. I do believe that. But because there's stuff that I never knew. And if I didn't sort out the information, I still wouldn't know today. Because if I wasn't interested, like it really boils down to what you're interested in. But with school, they just gonna tell you what they want to tell you. That's why most of these kids in the United States, a lot of kids are bored in school. That's why y'all see a lot going on. Most of these kids are bored. They're bored.
We're not saying this is true. It's a criticism leveled by some people. But we can say that much of the world thinks Americans are ignorant. Well, to be frank, most of those shows pointing out American ignorance regarding their own nation are made on home turf. But you'll find people outside of the USA saying things like they don't know anything about history, not even their own. They believe only in their own heroic narrative and think the French Revolution is a roller coaster. We're told Americans are so insular, they are out of their depth when they walk out of the front door. But is any of this true? Listen to this. There's a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there always has been. The strain of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way through our political and cultural life, nurtured by the false notion that democracy means that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. Those words were spoken by the American scientist Isaac Asimov. But the fact that those words were his means there's a contradiction in terms. America is constantly ablaze with creative thinking. There is a daily conflagration of innovation, thoughtful introversion, skepticism, groundbreaking scientific research, world-changing fiction, reasonable, intelligent discourse appearing in blogs, podcasts, etc. But it turns out a lot of people, including inside America and outside, believe a culture of ignorance is propagated there. Is there any data to support this? Yeah, there seems there is. The Big Think wrote a story in 2013 with the title, Why Are Americans So Ignorant? And indeed, within the article is a lot of compelling evidence that many, in some cases most Americans, know very little about how their own country works, or worked, and don't even ask about the rest of the world. Weak civics curricula, partisan propaganda, and misplaced priorities of the mainstream media all share some blame for American ignorance, the writer says. But we feel it goes deeper than that. We'll let you decide. Number 3.
I can definitely agree, but I feel like there's ignorant people everywhere, It just depends on who it is. This video very interesting because I like the fact they kind of telling like, Is it true? Yes, but not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we can point a picture at one person and we can say that one person represents everybody, millions, billions of people, but they don't. If Johnny ignorant, that's just Johnny being ignorant. Like, I don't have to say the whole country ignorant. If Johnny being ignorant or dumb, then that's just Johnny being ignorant and dumb. It's not the whole world being ignorant and dumb. That's just Johnny and maybe his friends.
Positiveness and friendliness. We've really been bashing America, so now we'll look at a positive stereotype as equally untrue for all Americans. We must add, though, that when it comes to generalizations of countries, many people harbor a negative bias. How many of you have ever uttered the words, "Oh, I really don't like the English, the French, the Indian, the Chinese"? Just add your nation to the list. We recently saw a comment made by a young American who has gone to study in the UK. He couldn't wait to get out, saying the atmosphere for the most part was gray, unfriendly, and intimidating.
Dang.
Maybe he just went to the wrong place. But one might argue that Americans are in general more open and positive than Brits. We might remember what the dry, wry British celebrity intellectual Stephen Fry said about his trip to the US when he made a show about travel there. He said this sense of outgoing positivity he enjoyed, and he said it's something the Brits were missing. You can do it in America, or at least many people are taught to think they can. While back in Britain, perhaps the most downtrodden submit to the fact that life is hard, painful. Where's the beer? What some people call arrogance, Fry said, was partly American optimism, or what he said was a refusal to see oneself in a bad light. He added, if you go to an American bookshop, by far the biggest section is the self-help and improvement. He said people believe that life is refinable and improvable. That's how America works, he said. You adapt and you find ways to improve. You never submit. Hell yeah, he loves that about America. Take that in your British pipes and smoke it. We think we might add here that a lot of people have experienced this, and while harboring the stereotype that Americans are outgoing and confident, those same people might hold a counter generalization that sometimes this positivity climax is a bit too hard. It jumps the shark. And then, within this transposition, it manifests as something deplorable to others. It turns into pride without substance, blind faith, a superiority complex that is bathed only in its own ignorance. Number 2, money. It's all about money. If you've ever read critiques on Hollywood versus cinema, you'll find that Hollywood is said to be firstly, perhaps only, a money-making enterprise. European cinema, we're told, is more about the art. In an American film, often the happiest of all happiest endings is when they get away with the money. What else could matter? If you want to make a movie in Hollywood, first show bits of it to the most average consumers and ask what they think. Then make the film based on the results. Even if the movie might be greeted with intense dislike by more refined audiences, it's all about cash, goddammit. We want—
It is. Hey, cream. Cash rule everything around me. Dollar bill. That's a fact. And I would say this too. I mean, I feel like it's worldwide, but we can't deny that. Like Marvel, that's the cash money making right there. Like Marvel, because we got the Spider-Mans coming out. We got the Doctor Strange. We have the Infinity Wars, Avengers, all that. That's probably the top. That hands down. They're gonna break some records. They're gonna make billions of dollars type thing. But then you have some movies that catch your attention. In America, you want to make some money, especially in Hollywood or the drama. We love drama. Why do you think we got so many reality shows? We want to see drama. We want to see drama. That's why there's so many reality shows out there. And you watch it. You don't watch it like, oh, I want to see the... No, we waiting for the drama. You know what I'm saying?
I won't spend long on this, but America didn't invent capitalism. It's evidently just been very good at it. But at the same time, America embraces free speech, and critics of capitalism and neoliberalism abound in the country. America, the foundation of the United States, was built to have restrictions in place for if or when any behemoth gets out of control and gains too much power. We won't address the complications or merits of this today, but we will say that much of the world thinks America is overly money-centered, more than, say, focused on happiness gained from other means than merely...
And with that, with me being an American U.S. citizen, I can agree. It is definitely money-centered versus, hey, is this person good? Is this person happy? Is this person getting everything they need? Are things beneficial to that person? Like, I feel like it is more of a money. You can find certain companies, certain people that actually care about your well-being. Most of it is money. I can't agree with that.
Being rich and having lots of things. Number 1, Americans are all fat. Some Europeans and other citizens of the world like nothing more than to show their own superiority by constantly defaming Americans for their ingrained bad habits and slovenly TV-addicted fast food-related obesity. It is a fact that some part of America has a problem with eating, and this has led to what's called an obesity epidemic.
It is hard, you know. I don't know if y'all seen me. I'm here. I'm a little slim, you know. I be in the gym and stuff. I got a little muscle, but is this a problem? This is a big problem, though. This is a big problem. I feel like fast food is definitely cheaper than healthier food, and we just want what looks good. We just want the good looking food. We don't, and that's why I feel like, cause even kids nowadays, I seen some kids with skinny parents and they just big, and I'm like, they must be eating real good. They're eating real good. But this is a problem, though. This is a problem. I haven't seen a video yet where I've seen like a heavier set person from another country, you know, but I mean, y'all let me know. But I know obesity is a problem. I've been saying this for years. I've been seeing
that has resulted in widespread health complications. Your average Asian might touch down in, say, Houston for the first time and think they've discovered a land of giants. But America is not the fattest country in the world. It's around the 17th, according to the WHO. It's the fattest Western nation, but a lot of other Western countries are not far behind in terms of obesity. Obesity crises are happening in the UK, New Zealand, Ireland, Australia, and many other nations.
Dang.
We can hardly say the junk food epidemic is an American affliction only. And on the other hand, many Americans are fitness freaks. It's a fitness-conscious country as well as a nation of couch-bound sugar junkies. Just look at...
But we have more people than the countries they just named, though. So, of course, it's going to seem like we have more fitness. There's more people in the United States than the countries he just named.
Popular podcasts such as The Joe Rogan Show. And you'll see that health, longevity, physical improvement is on the minds of many Americans. You could even go as far...
It's selective Americans. The Americans he brings on the show. I don't know if y'all seen My 600-Pound Life. I ain't seen nobody on that show lose weight yet. I think one person, but if y'all seen My 600-Pound Life, entertainment. We like the process in hopes that they lose the weight, but they don't. Like, let's be honest. My 600-Pound Life, I ain't seen nobody lose weight. That's not on everybody. Losing weight, going to the gym is not on everybody's mind. And that's because I even been seeing on like TikTok and stuff, like most people are scared, especially if they're trying to lose weight. If they feel like they're overweight and stuff, they trying to go to the gym. They scared to go to the gym because they're going to be judged by people who are already fit that really didn't just naturally be fit. You got pre-workout, you got the post-workout supplements. They taking supplements. Like, if you feel like you're lazy to go to the gym, just get some pre-workout. It's going to make you jittery to the point that you got to do something. That's all these fitness people do. They got pre-workout. They take all these supplements. That's why they ready to go to the gym and stay in there for 2 or 3 hours, you know? But that is not on everybody's mind.
Physical improvement is on the minds of many Americans. You could even go as far to say that this new wave of health improvement is being led by an American avant-garde. But yes, the stereotype of fat America is hardly only imaginary. We could have added more to this list, but we feel if we're to debate these stereotypes in the comments, we might leave it here as it could get confusing. Do you think any of these stereotypes are true? Do you take offense to any of them, or do you...
What do y'all think? Let me go back to the 5. Y'all think these are true? I can say this is true, just not about everybody. Except the money thing. I think like when you reach a certain level, if you at the highest level type thing, it is all about the money. Like you can't tell me it's not. Like I read a book called The Goal. This guy was a supervisor and he was on the verge of losing his job because everything like production, everything was low. And what happened? What's the goal? What's the goal when it comes to a company or organization? Money. You need money. You need the right people in to do the work to make money, make more money. But I can't say these are true, just not for everybody in America. Like number one, all Americans. No, I can't say everybody fat, but I have seen some bigger people. You know, me myself, I'm not that big. You know, I work out every day. You know, I'm slim. You know, fit. Money, is it all about the money? I mean, we do gotta make some money. You know, so I mean, if you work and you gotta make money so you can get the things you need. So it's a mindset thing. The positiveness, friendliness. Hey, this is true, but not for everybody. Cause I run into some rude people all the time as well. Being here, like some people are rude. Ignorance and arrogance can go with that number 3. Cause some people are ignorant, some people are arrogant. Depending on what they have, people are gonna be arrogant by what they have that you don't. Not everybody, but some. Ignorance, I see that everywhere. So, like I said, in the comments, there's people from different countries. I get some comments that are ignorant. I don't have to tell that person that's ignorant, but I always get some comments that just sound ignorant too. I don't have to call that person out on their ignorance, but I can do that was ignorant, overlook it type. But if you've been to America or what you've heard, what you think about this file? I think this is pretty legit file. There is more that you can add, but this is pretty legit. I can't agree. So, but that's all I have for this video. I think that's the end of it. I think the other was just subscribe to the channel type thing. But y'all let me know what you think. Now that it's 2022, this was 2019. So 2022, let me know what you think. That's all I have. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Send down those recommendations. And y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.